And the UFC needs to come out with some big news because they've been overshadowed because Francis Ngannou dropped a bomb. Well, I think Ariel broke the news, and then Francis like followed up like a day later. It was like, oh, I guess it's out. But you got Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. Hey, remember when everybody was saying he fumbled the bag? That was fun, right? How many people are apologizing right now? My take on it, if you remember, was all good if you're leaving the UFC. The only reason it makes sense is if you get a Fury fight or if you get an Anthony Joshua fight, if you get those, it was a smart move. If you don't, it was the worst mistake you've ever made in your career. But not only did he get them, but, I mean, almost won the damn fight. Most people had him winning the fight. So he had a big-time show out. Now, my initial thought with Francis Anthony Joshua is this. The cat's out of the bag. The element of surprise like he did against Fury, where Fury always looks a little soft, but and I know Fury's respected Francis saying this, but like, I train just the same I'd train if I was getting ready for Usyk or Anthony Joshua. I train the exact same. I train my ass off. I don't know if that's true. I think mentally he kind of was like, this guy's not even a boxer. I'm going to be able to steamroll through him. And then found out the hard way that Francis can box his ass off. And please don't cough. And he found out you're fired. He found out the hard way that Francis is super athletic and can box. So the cat's out of the bag. Now, by the time Fury found that out, he did win a lot of later rounds, right? That's why people gave him the fight. You know, he got dropped on his ass, and then he was like, oh, I didn't get my shit together here, and started performing a little better. Still didn't look great, but it was able to pull it off technically. I did think Francis won the fight. Nonetheless, that cat's out of the bag. You're not gonna surprise Anthony Joshua now. Now Anthony Joshua has the advantage going, that's what he looks like? Got it. I need to take this guy serious or he will, beat me? Got it. So this is a much tougher fight for Francis Ngannou than Tyson Fury. Now, stylistically, Tyson Fury is an awful matchup for anybody in the world. If some guy is fighting Tyson or some guy is fighting Anthony Joshua, you always have more to worry about with Tyson Fury. He's so skilled at everything. His defense, his size, he's a nightmare. His footwork, typically he's a nightmare for everybody. In this case with Anthony Joshua, because we're in this weird lane where Francis Ngannou showed his hand in the Fury fight and guys need to take him serious, the element of surprise is gone. So now this can be a worse matchup for Francis Ngannou. Can he do it? Absolutely. Why can he do it? Because Anthony Joshua gets hit. Anthony Joshua doesn't have the same footwork and elusiveness as a Tyson Fury. And when you're playing the game with Francis Ngannou, who's the hardest hitter this side of the Congo, all it takes is one freaking hit. Ask Tyson Fury. He got dropped on his ass, and that was even a great shot. Anthony Joshua's a little more robotic, and he will take those chances, and this is good if you're a Francis fan. But again, cat's out of the bag. It's going to be a much tougher fight for Francis. I'll say that. And the odds are showing that it's going to be an easier fight for Francis. I think he's a minus or plus 700. I think Joshua's like minus 700 or something like that. Which, remember, with Fury, he was like, what was it? It was like a plus 4,000 or something.
Yeah.
Plus 500 underdog against Anthony Joshua is nuts. That's a win in itself for Francis. Nuts. But again, cat's out. The element of surprise is gone. Guys are going to take Francis serious now. Which, either way, Francis can lose this one and ride off in the sunset. I mean, it's over. He won. Game, set, match. Oh, but he lost to Anthony Joshua and Fury. I don't give a shit. Dude got paid and technically beat Fury, if you're MMA fan.
Do you think win or lose, obviously he's getting paid, but like, is the PFL deal even relevant? Like, do we ever see him fight in MMA and PFL?
I don't think so. That's a good question, Casey. You're dropping some really good questions today, and I like this out of you. New year, new Casey. The PFL thing never made sense to me, and I think that was I think PFL is his side chick. I think it's a plan B. I think with them, it was like, all right, hopefully, because remember, it's really up in the air. He was hoping it was going to work out. Fury was kind of, going back and forth, so we didn't know. So it really dragged out. But he got the Fury fight. I think PFL is just the plan B. If the Fury and Joshua and Wilder stuff didn't work out, it's working out. So he's like, and then Francis isn't that young either. That's the thing you got to remember. So it's not like he's this young whippersnapper. He's like, let me just do this and I'm going to go, fight for the title over here. I don't think he cares. Like, what's a PFL belt do for Francis's legacy? Who's he going to beat? Name somebody that's important that he would beat. There's no Cyril Gons over there. There's no John Jones or Aspinalls. There's none of that. So I just, if you're Francis' manager, shout out to Markel, I would look at Francis and go, hey, after this Joshua fight, no matter how it goes, Wilder's always there. He could lose this fight to get knocked out by Joshua, and Wilder's fight's there. Wilder's coming off a loss. He needs something to, get a spark back. But you fight Tyson, Joshua, and Wilder, we're going Sizzler. We're retiring. Like, why at his age would you go to the PFL and hope they can muster up some contenders that people are interested in? Good luck, dude. They're years away from that. Even with all the money they have, years away. UFC has all the big boys locked down, contractual-wise. So I just think PFL was a side piece in all this equation, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for him to fight Fury, make all the money, Joshua make probably more money, and then the Wilder fight's there. Then what, we're going to go do work at your age and try to take out these guys nobody's heard of in the PFL that nobody's watching? Okay. But Francis won. Boy, did he win.